This is Fresh Air. I'm Terry Gross. My guest, James Bennet, is the Jerusalem bureau chief for the New York Times. He's joined us several times to talk about the latest developments in the Middle East. We invited him to discuss the ceasefire that was declared a week ago Sunday by the three major Palestinian groups, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and Fatah. But by the time we recorded our interview early this morning, the ceasefire had been broken by a suicide bomber who attacked an Israeli home last night on the West Bank, killing an Israeli woman and injuring 3 of her grandchildren. A cell of Islamic Jihad claimed responsibility, but the leadership of the group disavowed the attack and said they're still committed to a suspension of violence. I asked James Bennet how much control the leadership has over would-be suicide bombers.
Well, it's interesting. Palestinian and Israeli security officials both say that Hamas and Islamic Jihad have a very high degree of discipline inside the organizations. They're very hierarchical organizations. And as recently as Sunday, senior Israeli security officials were saying that they expected Hamas and Islamic Jihad were more likely to abide by this temporary ceasefire than Fatah, whose Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades organization is somewhat more chaotic, has less direct command and control. So it raises the question as to whether this group that conducted this attack last night was in fact operating autonomously, whether there's some double game being played here, whether Islamic Jihad itself ordered this attack now wants to be seen as disavowing it and suggesting that it was conducted by a renegade group, or whether they in fact don't have the degree of discipline that Israel itself credits them with.
So how so far is this affecting the peace talks?
Well, it's interesting. The Israeli response so far has been fairly muted to this attack. Israel's position all along has been that the ceasefire was nothing but a ploy, an effort to blunt Israel's army, to restrict its military operations and give these groups time to rearm and regroup. They've been under substantial pressure for some time from Israel now. So Israel didn't put much official stock in this ceasefire to begin with. On the other hand, the area where this occurred, which is in central Israel along the boundary with the northern West Bank, in that area Israel has not yet withdrawn from the Palestinian areas of the West Bank and retains effective security control. So the Palestinian security forces have not yet taken over there, and while the ceasefire was intended to apply to all attacks against Israel everywhere, according to these groups, the Palestinian security weren't in a position there yet, according to both sides, to really maintain control.
So the Palestinian security can't be blamed for the attack?
Well, they can still be blamed, and Israel